This is an RLA meeting on the 8th of December. This meeting is being recorded and publication on the Action Town Council YouTube channel.
Just one to note so far: Councillor John Boyd, Simon Pike, Suzanne Adamantos, Chairman Tom McCann. Yeah, it's all right.
Taking read and confirm the accurate minutes from the last meeting on the 22nd of September.
Still be within the packs.
Yep. Happy. Except Mr. Redall. Okay.
Yeah, second. Yeah.
Take those.
You've got 3.2. But there isn't. I've got nothing to add on from the previous meeting since I wasn't there. But there isn't anything else from the officers that needs to be noted to committee this evening.
The fourth on the agenda tonight: income and expenditure costs.
Yes, you'll note in your packs there are committee's budgets for the financial year to date, and we are, bless you, we are about 75% of the way through the financial year. So if there's anything that you wish to look at, please raise it. There's a couple of things to add from my little bit of research that I've undertaken, and water costs are very high everywhere. Charges have been increased, plus we had a extremely dry summer, but the allotments and cemetery are severely impacted, as you'll see in the report. But most of our assets as well, our water bills are extremely high. The themed market income is still under the weekly market budget line, which sort of slightly skews those figures. We're not sure why, but we're looking to move them. I think they have been previously requested to be moved before, but this will be accounted for in the next budget. And the heading contribution is still being invoiced at about 10,000 per quarter. So we'll have a larger bill again in period 4.
Was that 24 full council? We actually approved the payment.
We have approved the payment for last year. The current year is still being invoiced at £10,000 per quarter, so there will be another chunk at the end of the current financial year. So 2 years worth of pay, rather than 1.
Thank you, Councillor. Yeah, so if there's anything else, so that were a couple of things that I've noticed there's nothing else that's too alarming within the budget lines there. Income, you'll see, is around about what we were hitting last year on our halls. Yeah.
Okay. 1053 on the cemetery. Donations received. Obviously, that's sort of budget for. Obviously, that's something that means something if it's not going, detail. So we know what was behind the donation.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't give that answer tonight, unfortunately, Owen, but I can find out. Yeah, absolutely.
And perhaps if I suggest perhaps a note around members of the committee.
Yeah, yeah.
Just so we know.
So was that 1053, Owen? Yeah.
Page 5.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I will find out and report back to the committee. Okay. Anything else? Yes, again, I think this may be in your pack, but if not, I'll get up on the screen now. Yeah, you've got it. There's just a couple to add to the previous that list. It's an ongoing list. This dates back to 2024, and they're right at the bottom. And they are the Beverley Close footpath resurfacing, which has now been completed. Looking good. That was 3,550. That's now complete. And the Summer Meadow at Pound Lane has also been completed at a cost of 1,170 pence. But they're the two newest additions to the report.
My proposal for any after 2023 would stay on, but as of 2026, we remove 2023. We've got 11 to 12, 23, 7 to 12. Just more of a shutting it down now. I don't know what the legalities of how it's beyond, but on it off in the capacity. Just those three. There's a Dungeon car park, there's a player area repairs, and the Burger community centre, and it.
I hear the argument. Quite nice to see what.
Well, it is.
Because that's what the first is.
Yeah.
And it's a 4-year thing in that time. Another question.
If I can move on to a different item. On the first page, there is churchyard representation benefits for St Mary's. Meeting with church on the 30th of June, public consultation required by the diocese. Anticipated completion declared by the church. I'll just make the note that says why.
Before my time, I'm afraid.
Before you're done. In that case, can I request?
I can find out. Yeah, yeah.
If you want. Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, back to that, we'll then come back to the next meeting.
Yes. I'm just trying to find it. What was the date? There we go.
Sorry, on that very
First page, yeah.
260224 and minute reference 22406.
Oh yeah.
That just seemed kind of odd to me.
The drainage from Pelican do you know how effective that has been so far?
It has reduced it, but there is still ongoing issues down there. And without further sort of groundworks investigations, we're at a bit of a loss in that respect, to be fair. Obviously, the damage has already been done to the wet bore, but it certainly has reduced the water ingress and the flooding that we've had previously. Albeit this summer we had quite a dry summer, so it's only just now come, but it's on Kent's radar to check and monitor. He had to do some grading works around it to sort of create a French drain because it wasn't doing its job originally. But as far as I'm aware, it's working. Obviously, it probably doesn't look like that because all the damage has already been sort of done to the wet bore originally.
My concern obviously is we had in the budget last year. There's a significant chunk of change that we're going to have to commit to the wet bore replacement.
But yeah, I think it's something about 120,000. Wet bore is extremely expensive. Yeah, I mean, it will need to be addressed at some point.
Yeah, well, I think we hoped was actually going to alleviate the problem. From the sounds of it, it's going to be much better, but that's not the lifting of the wet bore, but the rising water rate. So,
Yeah, I mean, there's only patchwork now that can be done. So
Chairman, this is quite intense this year. We're talking lots of money, we're talking about, I suspect it's literally the largest claim area that we've got within the town. I think I wonder whether James and Kent can really sort of put their thinking hats on and or even their hard hats on and see if we can get. I think if it came to it, for example, it would be probably worth having an engineering consultancy going around with a spectrum 2 or 3 to get somebody who can actually say this really is the issue and you're never going to beat it and demolish it and put it somewhere else or something of that nature. I think a lot is really on entailed.
currently, as I would say, the issue it's whether it's the market playground, I don't know, but certainly it's wet bore in its entirety.
yeah, well, yeah, a lot.
So it's an enormous area.
Yeah.
And we don't, we can.
They don't last long. The patches.
It's going to be I think part of the solution may be to actually look at the areas of wet bore where they need to be.
Yeah.
Well,
You'll find in between there's grass areas. Yeah, like what Mike's alluding to is a bit grass in between there.
so that 120,000 actually can raise the level of the entire playground.
Yeah.
And then resurface. Yeah.
So it would be below the area where the playing rises. Because it's certainly going to be major.
Would be growing over a period.
I mean, yeah, that was when it was developed, wasn't it? So, it's got, no, it's got to be longer than that, much longer than that.
It's not very long. It's not very long. They actually do put in it's in the bus because it's West Berkshire Council, and this is one of the bits, as you know, this is one of the bits from West Berkshire Council asset, but then they're very glad to have road to it where they possibly could, and we took over all the player from the Berkshire player and this is obviously as Chris developed. I suppose literally it's just please can we have a bit more information.
Well, I mean, what I can get.
Before we start talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I think I can request a report on the different options we have, whether it's full wet bore mixed, as Mike needs to, if there's surveyors out there that we can use and costs involved in that. Yeah, a bit more of a comprehensive report. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely near the end of its life. Yeah. Thank you. Number 6, right? Yes. So this is the 6 months as requested previously. 6 months performance review of Scoville, our grounds maintenance contractor. So I will just get the report up. That well, I wrote this report with a little bit of help of Kent and Stacey. So it's a little bit of background for what we are looking for out of our grounds maintenance contractor. Managing contractor performance is essential for delivering the council's objectives and targets. We as a council cannot deliver these services to the residents unless the contractors are performing well. Working jointly with contractors to review performance regularly is therefore essential. So the purpose of this report is to review Scoville's performance since they started the new GM contract on the 1st of April this year to the present day. And their overview of their duties, I mean, most of you will know anyway, but grass cutting, hedge maintenance, shrub beds, hard surface cleansing, litter, leaf and tree, litter and dog bins, and all our exterior furniture out and about and around the town. So this is some feedback from officers that have day-to-day dealings with them, i.e. myself, Ken, Stacey, previously it was Laura as well. Everyone's very satisfied with the understanding of the client's needs and the service delivery. Their response time is good. Communications are okay. There's always room for improvement with communication, especially with contractors, but I've certainly seen far worse. The supervisor has improved that, so that's why it's a little room for improvement, because there's always room for that. And the workmanship is satisfied. I mean, I've done a few out and about and seen since we've had some glowing feedback from TC officers, members of the public. So there's a bit of feedback from Kent. So this all this information is in your pack, but there are a few communication issues between Scoville management and TTC, and mainly actually between management and the team themselves. These issues are minor, so I just want to highlight these are very minor. We had to sort of review them, but it's very positive. So this is the sort of negative, but we have been working with them the last couple of months, especially to resolve these issues. Having almost completed their first year of the contract, the next step will be to finalise an annual schedule of works. This will resolve one or two of the communication issues and will aid TTC when advising staff. Kent's very happy with Schofield and the service they are providing. Their work quality is good. The team is working well as a unit, and issues are dealt with swiftly. And we've also, we've received many reports, good reports from staff and residents to that effect. Stacey's got put a bit of comment in there as well. Again, all in all, she's very pleased. I mean, the cemetery's been getting fantastic feedback since they started, really. It's looking the best it's looked in years. So that sort of aligns with what I would like to do down there next year. I'm sort of looking at doing a silver award. I think we're on bronze at the moment. Obviously, see what's involved in showcasing what we're doing down there. So as a council and as nice as it looks aesthetically. So yeah, I mean, there's a couple of strengths there. Willingness to make the contract a success. A local core of staff, which two of them are faction based. Gordon, the supervisor, is literally around the corner. So they take great pride in their work, and you can tell that they do. You know, and a couple of areas with communication and the schedule of works, which for their first year, the contract is not too much of an issue. They sort of 6 months, shall I say, the contract is not much of an issue. They're just sort of getting used to us, and we're getting used to them. So I would like to think this time next year that wouldn't be on the report. There is, they're sort of working out us, we're working out them, but predominantly they've been great. And there you go. I've done a little summary there myself. But to summarise, we got electric vehicle to the contract. They embracing our ethos on the environment. EV charging point was installed at the moors. They've developed, like I said, a core staff local to Thatcham. But they're certainly meeting our expectations. They've just recently, last week, donated the Christmas tree for the cemetery, which we should out in the pouring rain to take out the photos. But they've been very involved. Also by providing us with free mulch and stuff for the gardener in the Jubilee Garden. So it's the relationship's working well, and I think it's justified our decision as a council to get them on board. Yes, very, very positive actually. We've been impressed with them. We can only compare it to the last one, so I can say it's sort of miles better. But is anyone else would like to say? Yes, not 80% of our compliments have been based at the cemetery. Hence why I want to sort of try and jump on that. Like I said, next year looking into I can't remember the abbreviation, but it's cemetery awards. I think we currently sort of hover around the bronze stage. Try and see if I can push us, elevate us to the silver. But that's Schofield so far.
A very clearing up report from many sides. The minor areas for improvement. Can I ask you, Chairman, whether I think that is something which is already happening, when we need to go back and sort of check where we're at with getting that kind of communication?
The last couple of months has improved primarily because we set up a WhatsApp page between TTC and Schofield now. So there's things that need a bit more of a quicker answer or a response. It's all on them now. So it cuts out Schofield having to ring their supervisor, who then have to ring us. So that's worked much better now, because if John, the supervisor, he's pulled in all directions on different contracts. If he doesn't answer, then obviously. So that's definitely improved performance. A couple of small things that they need our opinion on, or they might need a site visit. It's just a little message down on the WhatsApp. So that's work that wasn't in place when we started in April. So that came in, I think, start of last month.
So, Chairman, on that paragraph, that first paragraph on that page, I'd like to put a little tick in there. So that is something that is working. That's absolutely great. But can I just ask, this is being, it's not techy, but it's being very detailed. When we put things together on the computer, it can quickly be done. So we don't have a yes or nothing.
Oh yeah, I've just seen that, yeah, because it's a different format for some reason.
You can get the option. Just
Yeah.
to make sure we get the formatting right, we get otherwise it makes it a bit difficult to actually read the notes. And I think it's okay, room for improvement is probably not quite the way to do the council. I think room for improvement is a perfectly reasonable thing to say, okay, I don't think it's in the report.
Noted.
Chairman, I propose we receive.
Any second? All those in favour?
Yes. So the pub track update is we've had one feasibility study from Clark and Kent contractors that came down about 6 weeks ago to meet Kent and I on site at Seeds Cross for the potential introduction of a pub track. They've come back with a report, and I've forwarded that onto every councillor. When was this? Back in October. Fees vary between 80,000 to 150, depending on what size we're looking for.
These are between what?
Between 80,000 and 150,000. I'm just trying to find the.
If you want one that's the size of this table, it's going to be X on the size of the room. You pay a lot of it for size per meter of what you want, essentially.
I'm just trying to find this.
And can I just, whilst you're looking, attending a working party, the viewpoint party, one of the first things that the reports came out from the district, from one of the officers from the council. I'm trying to think who was at the meeting. It was lots of different organisations, scouts, powers, etc. Spearheaded by Councillor Pemberton. And one of the first things he came out with that he wanted was a pub track. And I was sat right there, and everyone looked at me and just go, "Wow, that's what he wants." So the ears pricked up. So they've already done a report. They've already done the background research. Obviously, there are various grants that you can go for. So to keep the cost very low, because obviously it's a big expense, regardless of where it is. It's a big expense, but there is national level funding. There is
Sport England. There's quite a few, but
you can go for all of them because and then there's obviously some other
Shall I find that?
Chairman, literally, what is the update on this? Just that people are looking at it and getting ideas.
yeah, this stage now. Owen is to obtain some feasibility studies. I've reached out to 4 or 5 contractors. This is the only one that's really responded and been able to visit us. There is another potential contractor lined up for mid-January, but it was under instruction to get some feasibility studies with a certain amount of money that was put aside to do that. So the update is we've received one, and that is it so far, really, with regards to where it's at. Mid-January, here we go. This is what they come back with. Sorry, it took a while. But yeah, this is a company based in Staffordshire. They've done all sorts of pump tracks all around the world, basically, as well. Olympics and stuff as well. So they're very well thought of. It's because it's such a big file. It's still loading up anyway. Yeah, just give us a second, it's just loading.
Where are you? Just like the last thing is.
Well, that's it. The other thing is to get companies able to
To price up.
price that. Maybe like one quote, break on another quote.
So it's a long way off here.
Oh yeah. Right, so Owen, this is an idea of a pump track, Owen. So there's many different designs, and it is dictated on the space that you have. But essentially, so this one they ignore Paintley Bridge Town Council. That is Thatcham Town Council. 60 meters by 28 meters design. So that's probably the biggest it could be in Siege Cross for that location. So just, it is really up to the customer what we're looking for as in size. But so they've obviously quoted high, but so it's sort of like but they've worked with many councils, hundreds of projects. So that's a bit. I'm just trying to get to the bit where they show a little design of Siege Cross. Can't remember what page it was on now. There we go. So it looks something along the lines of that, and it would sit in the.
Forgive me, Chairman. So the picture you've got up is the actual proposal.
That's their initial proposal. They're open to ideas from in Thatcham, and that's literally where we're at now with costs. And they did advise about consultation because they asked if any consultation had been commenced. It hasn't. Usually, the consultation is done prior to this, so that's one thing that they did feedback to me when we met them on site. So I don't know if that's something that you need to think about.
Came back, it was going to be grand, they would have said no. But as it's, I mean, but if it was going to be a cost that we can at least look at, then we can go, let's go and chat to Ken.
I think we need to be very clear where we're going to get the money from. So is this from, is that from, is whatever, before we go out and start pairs running, that we then might not be able to deliver. Because I absolutely agree that involving, well, as long as the people are going to use it, it's going to be the most sensible thing to do. Yeah, that would be through, like the chemistry, factory or trees or absolutely then being involved in design. It's very crucial just to get it right. But I think if we do that before we are fairly certain that we are going to be able to actually get whatever is right, that would, I think, you can't. Otherwise, like, how we can get insurance on the grants without requiring grants.
Yeah. So I don't know much about the meeting, but when was the proposal? Just to check it. Very organisation. What I understood
that body, whatever it would be discussing priorities for the future projects, what people really want to see, in the way of facilities for young people. Whether the contracts at the top of that list, it would be useful to receive feedback from the group and to exactly what was discussed, what the kind of things were. I don't think I've seen so I'm not sure what they could make available yet.
Sport England do 15 grand. There was lottery units.
Sorry,
Lottery.
Where are these figures from?
The National website do £20,000. Sport England can do up to £15,000 for their movement fund. Obviously, we may be able to get some money from our friends over in West Berkshire as well. And so there are grants. Maybe I say maybe. But there are, and I completely agree that we need to see what's the maximum we can get. So almost, it's not pie in the sky, it's what can we get for it? Okay, so how much would we need as a shortfall? And how do we get that money? Yeah, completely. Because what they're going to want before going for a grant is evidence that it's needed. They're going to need consultation process, but when you apply for the grant, it's almost needed. Yes.
I'm going to say something which might sound as if it's being negative. I'm not negative about it. I would love us to have a facility like that. I'd love us to. I am terrified that we're sitting here in a room with 4 councillors, 5 councillors, and we're talking about the possibilities of putting something on the site, and they're coming up with figures that I'm barely believing. I don't feel very happy about this as a process. I think that we should probably, that's pretty too strong. A suggestion would be that we set up a working party where people can actually get down into the nitty-gritty. If it's going to be involving West Berkshire, there's Councillor Benton there as a town councillor, as a West Berkshire councillor. Sorry, I asked this question, and it wasn't a question. But yes, at this moment, I'm sort of hearing the conversation which has come out of one item on this agenda, and I'm quivering in my boots. And this is a public meeting. This is being broadcast on our YouTube channel, and who is going to be looking at this and saying, "My God, it just posted, 150,000 or 200,000 pounds of contract. Is it going to be next week or the week after?" I don't feel very comfortable with where we're at from a process point of view.
Possibly I was going to go away a little bit on.
Yes.
Prior to saying what working part.
Yes.
Because at the moment we've got three part then blah blah blah, and a desire for it to happen. We need to find out, confirm how much we get, and where we're going to get the funds from. Subject to grant applications being made.
No.
Make you happy.
And if I'm not being too cheeky, one of the things that could be found out as well is what the planning status would be. Is this the sort of thing which is going to walk through the Berkshire East Area planning, or is this the sort of thing which is going to be an absolute hiatus? The whole thing is going to be looked at and brought into scale, brought into it's going to be fight worthy.
Yeah. Yep.
So we want to item 8.
Item 8. Yes, this is a brief update. This has now been Richard, our maintenance officer, has now removed the toilet that was in the night toilet that hasn't been used for many years. I believe there were some emails circulating around. I was trying to get some information. So yeah, that's now been removed. I think the whole cost was £25 in all to remove the toilet, to cement in, but it's created a bit more space. Events are using it now as a little hub for any events that are in the Broadway. We've got the council surgery as well. It was just an update as to it was to be noted at the next RNA. And that's that. So it's being used, and yes, more extra space for us for the future. Yes. So the community engagement officer has sent me a report on the town centre map. An idea to update our town centre maps that we have in and around Thatcham, in the office. They are in your packs, I believe. Oh, so you've got the quote, haven't you? So the report is Emily's just sent me an email thread. She's been liaising with the. Here we go. So I've got some examples of the work they've done previously. So they've designed many different new maps for town and parish councils. Can be in 3D formats. There's a couple of examples on the screen now. And these can be we can sort of dictate how these are presented and printed, but the maps are being used on display boards in towns and villages, encouraging use of available green spaces, showing off all our local walks, encouraging use of our local shops and amenities, and it'll be on the website, digital notice board. We'll have we've got copies in the office that people can use. So this was just, I believe, a request to update all our mapping because it hasn't been looked at for a long time.
Mr. Chairman, the request is part of the specifically with two points to one of my requests. One was we never had cooking on that, and up to a point I can understand the logic of that. The simple fact is someone comes to Thatcham and they couldn't address which is actually cooking, and that doesn't show where it is. And my second concern was that even in the fairly recent past, we've now got a lot of new estates, particularly out towards around back of Penning, that I have not on our map. So where our map, I think, really first came out, brilliant, and we now need a fresh one, and that's what I requested to be fresh. The concerns I would have are that, and I don't know how to get around this, I want to see what the map is going to look like before saying, yes, that's what we want. And I suppose at that point, London Jobs would be saying, company will be saying, once you've done it, we've done it.
There's a different style. I think,
Yeah, so
probably what we should imagine if you're a group.
They would, but they won't do a brief unless we're definitely going to go through doing it. I don't know, but I would imagine they wouldn't do a proof unless we were certain we are going to go ahead with it. They'll give us a proof, so we're happy with it, but only on the basis that we proceed with their quotation.
Yeah, I suppose what I'm really saying is, I want to see the concept of what is being done before we push the go up and say, actually, that's exactly what we want. And I mean that from the first one, I want to have my items. So if we can somehow or other get it, the couple of this committee can be called in to look at it or to conference with applicants to say, will they be coming into the office?
They would do everything's done online, Owen, so they probably won't even need to come in. Yeah.
I don't know quite how we sort that one out, but I don't want to spend a ton of money and then find that you've got something which is effectively not usable. What we've got at the moment is one. It's all accurate, but it doesn't have the new space in it, and it's never ever had criminal in it. And I want those bits to be addressed. Not easy to do.
Yeah, I was just going to suggest that maybe you should go to the community engagement working party, because that's where that's brand and marketing related is generally discussed, and let's say the group that Emily generally works with. If we could ask Emily to bring some examples to that group, because we haven't discussed it recently at that working party. So if maybe she could bring some examples onto that group, we could check the council can use the
Yeah.
Revert to type and where the money is coming from. What budget line is the money coming from? Or if not, can I have a recommendation, leave those in there. It's still really work on. Because at the moment, that's a relatively small sum of money. But it's trying to get additional and saying, in the budget line, we're not spending it until we actually spend it. I don't think it would. It might go.
What's that for? So it's supposed to be something new, technically. Yeah, I'll ask the question about the sill, and I will.
Ironically, it is covering new estates that still would then be critical. And do another one in 4 years' time.
Number 10. Yes, again in your packs is I believe a quote regarding the carbon footprint appraisal. So on the 1st of December, the Environmental Working Party, the following was agreed: to recommend to RNA to proceed with the full package carbon footprint report at 5,300 plus VAT. However, if budget is an issue, then members are happy to proceed with repeating only the carbon footprint appraisal at a price of £3,000 plus VAT. I've since reconfirmed on the 5th that the prices remain valid as the quote was originally provided in May, which is what I believe you have in your packs. And there's a little, if you look on the screen, if there's a, this is what the proposal includes. This is a company called Carbon Footprint Limited for a comprehensive carbon footprint appraisal. A full carbon footprint appraisal for 2023 and 24, scope 3 supply chain screening, climate change net zero target setting support, green claim support and branding benefits. And there's a little bit that goes on. The advantages of commissioning this work: the report will strengthen our environmental reporting, support our climate action plan, and provide a credible framework for future decision making and communication. which can include the use of the carbon footprint standard branding.
Chairman, I know it's going to sound very old-fashioned, but every time I've been on this council, we always had the understanding, and I think sometimes the actual standing order, that anything of any sort, we go out for 3 quotes. And we seem to be sort of, it seems to me we should be drifting into, if we get a quote from somebody, we'll get a quote. And the whole point about competitive tendering, etc., 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 it does make me sort of feel uncomfortable down the back of my neck that we're looking at one quotation which is for a not insubstantial sum of money. I don't know if this is actually at the moment for the confidential figure or not, but it's not an insubstantial figure. And maybe after all these years, my visit is wearing off on me. But the simple truth is that I don't feel very comfortable with being presented with one slam dunk figure that this is what it's going to cost to do it. But the private working party which I met is very eager to get all the work that they've listed in the council, which she did some years ago, to get an understanding of our part of the group to be working against the down. I'm very, very keen to start to continue to drive getting the benefits out of that. But I do feel very, very uncomfortable with simple things.
That's good explanation.
Yeah, exactly. Companies want, if you ask companies to do something, like a contract, that I suppose, you know, we have one quote, it's not the one to try. We don't know about this, but I think when you say about one quote in the meeting, it does sound to me like we're going to go again question another project that has been put forward tonight. If we have a quote asked for, companies need to be called, companies come and ask the job. We've done due process. Are there other companies that do this?
I do agree on the quotes. Paradoxically, the money is actually in the
Okay.
In that we have
So we
an earmarked reserve for
ER 339, yeah.
Which has
It's a balance of 6.6k.
yeah, the money's actually in there, but I also think the one was great. The purpose was the climate emergency. If we spend all the money on getting reports, as opposed to actually doing it.
The reports null and void.
The money to be able to do things, which then is not actually this that's actually going to take the figure that James had just said about taking authority away.
Okay. Brilliant, thank you. Yeah, you get number 11 and then I'll finish the meeting.